In this project, we are going to create an app that is going to find the sum of the numbers from 0 to a number which is specified by the user. So the algorithm goes as follows. We get a number from the user, we set that number to variable n, then we are going to initialize sum, which is a counter, to 0. Our counter index is the one that we use for the loop, and while the index is less than or equal to n, we are going to find or update sum to be the previous sum plus the index. And then we go back again to the beginning of the loop and we continue until index is greater than n, and then we are going to display sum. So let's go ahead and start our project. As usual, the first thing we do is we create our new project. So start a new project and we call it add numbers from 0 to n. Now, again, we get a screen like this one. We have to change the title, so we go down and we change the title to sum of numbers from 0 to n. So the title is changed. We need a label and also a text box and a button and obviously a notifier. So the first thing is that I can just drag and drop a notifier here. Then to have the label and the text box beside each other, I need a horizontal arrangement. I set the width to be field parent. Then I'm going to drag and drop a label is inside, and I'm going to say number, or let's change it to n. And then beside that, I'm going to drag and drop a text box. Now the text box, I'm going to change to n, which is the number, and I'm going to change the hint to enter a number. And now I need a button here, and I'm over here, I'm going to type find the sum. So the user enters a number, then clicks on this one, and this app is going to return, using the notifier, the sum of the numbers from 0 to n. First, let me check this label. I have to put a colon, not semicolon, colon. Now let's start writing the code. The first thing I have to do is to create a variable called sum and initialize it to 0. So to initialize 0, I drag and drop from the math one block which says 0. Now I need from the button, I need when button 1 clicked. Now I have to go through a loop from 0 to n. So I need to go to control and bring for each number. Let's call it I. And I want to start from 0 to go to n. N is the value in the text box, which is n. So I'm going to drag and drop one of them and change this guy to text and drop it here. Now when I go inside, I have to update sum. So I have to set sum to be equal to the previous sum, so get sum, plus the value of I. So this loop is going to go from 0 to n in step of 1 and updates the variable sum. When it is done, I want to use the notifier and I want to display the sum. So again, I need a text here, and the title is going to be sum of numbers from 0 to n. Or let's do something else. Now, this n is in general. Let's change the message so it says sum of the numbers from 0 to the number that the user enters. So this part is going to be the same for all the possible inputs. I'm going to bring a join out, and I'm going to join this one. Instead of the number n, I'm going to put the value that the user enters in the text box. So I'm going to bring this one and put it here. Make sure you put a space right after the 2, because otherwise there won't be any space between 2 and the number entered. And this is going to be our message. Our title, this is going to be our title. The message is going to be the value of the variable sum. So I get the sum and I put it here. And now I'm going to duplicate here and type OK. The only thing I have to do here is that since sum, every time I click the button, I have to make sure it's set to 0. So I'm going to set sum equal to 0 every time I run the app. So again, we set sum equal to 0. Also, we set sum equal to 0 inside the block because I can run the app more than once. Then I go through a loop depending on the number of that the user enters, and then I'm going to update sum to be sum plus the index of the loop, and then I'm going to display the message. The only thing we did here was this title is variable depending on the number that the user enters. So let's go ahead and see if the app works. So this is my app. You can see that it says n and then find the sum. Let's say 10. It says sum of numbers from 0 to 10 is 55, which you can do it on the paper and you can see that the answer is correct. Or I can enter 100. It says sum of the numbers from 0 to 100 is 50,050.